Good evening, everyone. Thanks for attending this evening. A couple of items for what we call the meeting to order. We are Facebook Live this evening. Our live streaming is not working. Our IT department's been working on some issues related to our internet service, but they're doing a great job with that, and we appreciate their efforts. But if you want to send some people some texts and tell them to get on the Hobbs Facebook Live, if some of you are interested in watching the presentation this evening, please do so. With that, Ms. Fletcher, I'll call the meeting to order and ask you to call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Cobb.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here by phone.
Commissioner Mills.
Here.
Commissioner Fields.
Here.
Commissioner Calderon.
Here.
Commissioner Pinnock.
Mr. Peck, I'm here.
Commissioner Gert.
Here.
Sign in prompt just came up.
You want me to sign in for Commissioner Smith?
No, that's fine. We got it. Is it working like you want to, Molly?
Yeah, it's all signed in, so let's go ahead and just continue to see if it goes through. But we do have a quorum when we have everybody signed in.
Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda is the invocation, and the pledge of allegiance. Invocation will be by Mr. Pinnock, and the pledge of allegiance will be by Mr. Calderon. Please rise.
Please join me in prayer. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we're so blessed to be before you this evening, Father God. I just pray that you give us wisdom, Lord. Give us your guidance. Help us to make the right decisions for this city and for the people, Lord. Father God, thank you for your blessing and your gift upon the cross for our sins, Lord God. Father, I pray that you're with our first responders, our military men and women, and our police officers, Father, and as they go forth and do their job. I pray your blessings upon this city. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you for your attendance this evening. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the August 2nd, 2021 regular commission meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Calderon. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Gert. Please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Motion does pass. Item number 2 on the agenda is proclamation proclaiming Monday, August 16th, 2021 is Hobbs Eagles Day in recognition of the outstanding accomplishments of the 2020-2021 Hobbs Eagles boys golf team and recognizing Coach Victor Rotuno, New Mexico High School Golf Coach of the Year. I'm going to step to the front. I'll call your name. When I call your name, gentlemen, if you will come up and join me, I'll appreciate it, okay? I've had the pleasure of knowing these young men as they've gone from boys to young men and as they've matured not only as gentlemen but as golfers, and they have really represented our community well, and I wish them well as they move on both in their career here in high school and Jake that's moving on to college golf. So Jake, if you come up here first. Jake Rain, lowest round 77 by the senior tournament, placed 12th overall. Stand right up here. Seth Lackey. Seth is a junior, tied for 5th overall with teammate Kellen Owensby, who's not going to be with us tonight, but Kellen did a great job as well. Jackson Range, a sophomore, shot 2 under par, state runner-up. Here this evening. He's a freshman. He shot an even par 72 and tied for 5th overall in the tournament. Tripton Roberts, a freshman, shot 76, 10th overall. Already and then Coach Victor Rotuno. New Mexico Coach of the Year, and he's been dedicated to this program for a long time. How many years you been coaching here?
18.
18 years. Whereas the Hobbs Eagles boys golf team have completed another outstanding and successful year representing our city in golf competition. And whereas Coach Victor Rotuno and Coach Mike Mills continue to lead the Eagles to a reputation of excellence and prestige throughout the state of New Mexico and the surrounding area. And whereas the Eagles have been successful in earning the respect of their peers and others in the state for good sportsmanship and are well known for their overwhelming support. And whereas the Eagles have again proven their ability by winning a 7th state championship with a season record of finishing first in all their tournaments except one in which they placed second. And whereas the team shot a 290 team score at the state tournament, which is a large school one-day total state record. And whereas the 54 boys participating in the state tournament, the Hobbs boys team all finished in the top 12 and 3 young men earning all state honors. And whereas Coach Victor Rotuno was selected as New Mexico Coach of the Year. Now therefore, I, Sam D. Cobb, Mayor of the City of Hobbs, do hereby proclaim August 16th, 2021 as Hobbs Eagles Day in recognition of the outstanding accomplishments of the 2020-2021 Hobbs Eagle Boys Golf Team with congratulations for a job well done. Coach. Tell us about next year's team. Come on.
Looks pretty good.
Well, we're gonna be awful sad losing Jake, I'll tell you that, but, you know, we have 4 boys coming back next year, and, you know, the program's still in the up and up, and hopefully we'll have a lot of more future Eagles coming up with us to hopefully get that 5th spot, and we're looking forward to this next year already. Thank you guys again, we appreciate it greatly.
City staff, Coach Rotuno and Coach Mills, and gentlemen, great job. And on behalf of the city staff, we have a couple of bags and some goodie bags. So again, congratulations. So grab one from each box. There you go. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Job well done. Hey, good job. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Good luck.
Hey, when you look when you go somewhere.
Get one of Gene.
We're thankful that he's here with
I gotta say, Mayor, that's pretty impressive to have a team like that come out of Hobbs. Just very well done.
Well, it's just a lot of hard work on their part.
Absolutely.
Good coaching, and then, you know, we're fortunate we got a great facility down here for training and playing, so if you can score pretty good at Rockland, you can score pretty good anywhere.
I just want to add, I am just so proud of some of these young men I remember in school, and once again, congratulations, and I'm so proud of my friends, my coaches, Coach Tiller, Coach Mills. You guys done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I'm proud to be a Hobbs Eagle.
Absolutely.
Next item on the agenda is presentation of Excel Energy Efficiency Award to Pete Zacharias, Senior Utility System Specialist, Mr. James Lackey with Excel Energy Community Relations Manager. James, come forward, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, thank you
Bring
very
the pull
much.
the mic to you.
Thank you very much for letting us come in here and do this.
Sure.
I wanted to recognize Pete for the efforts that he put forth participating in our energy efficiency programs. Pete took the initiative to get a hold of us, and as he was working through the water well system and all the fresh water system, he took advantage of $129,950 worth of rebates that he saved the city of Hobbs by participating in our programs. So I'm really grateful for him doing that, participating in our programs, saving those dollars for the taxpayers, and putting those into other projects. So, along with that, we also worked, and as XL Energy and with our contractor Clear Result, we approached Mr. Choate whenever he was in the role, and we worked with Ms. Baker about the core facility, and we were able to offer $559,000 worth of rebates on the core facility. So overall, you guys, we were able to really take some advantage of some programs for the city with XL. And so just as a congratulations, I wanted to really point out the work that Pete did. He came by my office many times to make sure that everything was in place and ready to go, and he was relentless. And we appreciate him for it. I wanted to make sure that you guys all knew and that everybody that he works with understands. And so we're really, really appreciative. So I have this recognition of excellence presented to the city of Hobbs, and I'd like to present it to Mr. Pete Zacharias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Lackey.
The next item is recognition of city employees and milestone service awards for the month of August 2021. Mr. Gomez, our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, staff, members of the public, good evening. Also too, want to congratulate Pete Zacharias, which is our SCADA specialist at the Utilities Division. So great job, Pete, and obviously to the staff there at the Utilities Division. Tonight we recognize, thank, and express our appreciation to 9 employees on accomplishing and earning 5, 10, and 15-year milestones for a combined 75 years of dedicated service. These 9 employees and their families are important members of our team, and their abilities and contributions have and will remain an important part of the city's continued success. I thank all of them for their dedication and extend our well wishes. And I'll ask the employees to come up after I've identified all 9 employees for a photo and also on Facebook. So our first employee comes to us from, I believe.
And they're switching on my end.
Yes.
Stand by for technical difficulties.
Can you do that there?
Megan's blocking the signal again.
It's my big head.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, first employee comes to us from the police department, celebrating his milestone of 5 years. Brendan Ingley was promoted to sergeant April 29, 2020. He has been working in the Eagle IC since September 2016, has been the vehicle maintenance officer since he returned to the agency 5 years ago. He's also been a de facto information technologist specialist with Stephen Blandon for the agency. And Brendan and I have known each other long before his arrival to Lee County, and is a close friend of our family. And I do know that he's in here, and I also want to recognize his family as well for being here this evening. Thank you. Our next employee from the engineering department, also reaching her 5-year milestone, is Amanda Ponce. She started with the City of Hobbs on August 8, 2016 in the GIS division as a GIS technician. She graduated from New Mexico State University with a Bachelor of Science in Geography, Geology, and GIS. Amanda's been an asset to the engineering department and is always willing to assist and help others when needed. Amanda's duties include database entry, GIS collection, producing custom maps, and has expanded her duties to include assisting and maintain the city's CRS accreditation, which helps keep flood insurance down for the citizens of Hobbs. Definitely something that's current. Amanda is currently working on a community block development grant application for the City of Hobbs. And just a fun fact about, many don't know about Amanda, is that she was Mrs. New Mexico in 2015 and represented Lee County. employee and reaching his 5 year is Justin Santos with the Hobbs Police Department. Officer Santos began his career with the city of Hobbs on August 29, 2016. Officer Santos previously served with the Hobbs Fire Department for 2 years before transferring to the police department. He later became a Hobbs police officer, accomplishing the academy in December 16th of 2018. He's currently assigned to the patrol division, to the Hobbs SWAT team. He serves as an entry team operator, as an explosive breacher. And Officer Santos is a true asset to the patrol division, the Hobbs Police Department, and to our community. So join me in congratulating Mr. Santos. Our next employee comes to us from the Hobbs Fire Department, reaching his 5 year milestone, Arlie Smith. Arlie is a firefighter with the City of Hobbs Fire Department. He's licensed at the advanced EMT level. He assists with fire prevention programs in our local schools and is actually known as Flash. And we definitely can't give his identity away, but.
Man, you got a picture.
Do I? Yes, I do. He mentors new firefighters, thank you, Mayor, and he also assists with training on shift. So again, congratulations to Mr. Arlie Smith. Our next 5 employees that we're recognizing now meet the eligibility requirements for longevity pay, which is you must have 10 consecutive years with the city of Hobbs and as a full-time or part-time employee. So our next employee reaching her 10-year milestone is Sandy Farrell, which is our library director. Sandy has a positive attitude with the public and employees. She is the acting chair of the Estacado Library Information Network. She collaborated with the New Mexico State Library in acquiring E-rate. Sandy was part of the 2020 Census Committee. She is on the New Mexico State Foundation Board. Sandy also held, in 2019, our 80th open house event. She was part of the expansion of the children's programming efforts to begin offering one additional Tuesday Twos. She added curbside, virtual, grab-and-go activity kits to adapt to the changing customer service environments due to the pandemic. And she was our lead in 2013 with the $2.2 million renovation of our Hobbs Public Library. So great job, Sandy, and I know Sandy's here. Congratulations. Our next employee is Josie Mendiola with the HPD, reaching her 10 years. Among many duties as an administrative assistant to the Chief of Police, she serves as a first point of contact to the Chief and Deputy Chief of Police. She presents an outstanding first contact, very professional, courteous, and helpful. She has served not only as the administrative assistant to the Chief, but has also willingly and effectively taken on dual roles several times in the absence of other staff. In part, she is responsible for scheduling new hire applicants, organizing retirement receptions, holiday events, maintaining JAG grants and funds, payroll, personnel actions, etc. The Hobbs Police Department is fortunate to have her as an integral part of the administrative team, and we sincerely congratulate her on a productive and beneficial 10-year anniversary. Join me in recognizing Josie Mendiola. Our next employee also reaching her 10-year milestone is Valerie Rojas. Valerie is the longest tenured member of the Human Resource Department, and with that comes a wealth of knowledge in all HR-related functions. This is the HR rock star, and she trains and assists coworkers with the utmost positive attitude and willingness to provide and support others. She shows great patience and she aids with the development of current HR members. She values continued education and looks forward for educational opportunities that are essential in keeping up to date with the ever-changing HR field. Valerie has exceptional historical knowledge of the HR department, which is invaluable when assessing new projects or processes. She is dedicated to always being available, whether it be for a new hire coming in, or for first time, or for an incumbent employee that simply has a follow-up question. Please join me in recognizing Valerie. Our next employee, also reaching her 10 years, comes to us from the Hobbs Police Department, Susan Santos. Congratulations and thank you, Susan, for her years of service. The Hobbs Police Department appreciates her contribution to the success of this agency. She started as a support service assistant for approximately 2 years. She was then promoted to records tech. Susan is hardworking, dedicated, and very detail-oriented, is our senior records technician, and based on all the knowledge she has gained, Susan is often relied on to help new records staff. Susan is always willing to help her coworkers, peers, and the public. Her abilities and contributions are an important part of our continued success. We are pleased and grateful for her being part of the Hobbs Police Department and the City of Hobbs family. So please join me in recognizing and congratulating Susan. Last but not least, 15 years, milestone, Reynaldo Valdez with our Utilities Department. Ray Valdez is very knowledgeable of where the meters are located within our community. He is also consistent and meticulous on doing meter maintenance, and Ray is dependable to work his schedule. And I'm sure you've seen Ray in and out of alleys, driving down the streets. But again, we appreciate his contribution to the city, as we do all 9 employees. So Mayor and Commission and members of the public, it gives me great pleasure to recognize these 9 employees, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Those of you that are, the employees that are present, if you come up front, we want to get some photographs. Those of you that came and support the golf team and your family members or friends, please, you feel free to leave. We've got some more business. You're welcome to stay, but you're more than welcome to leave. Thank you for coming. The next item on our agenda this evening is public comments. Citizens who wish to speak must sign the public comment registration form located in the commission chamber prior to the beginning of the meeting. Also, due to COVID-19, public comment may be submitted in person or in writing. Written comments should be submitted to the city clerk at jfletcher@hobbsnm.org or fax to 575-397-9334 no later than 4:30 p.m. of the day of the meeting, which day would have been August 16th. We do have one individual that has asked to be part of the public comment, Mr. Alfredo Turbiatis. Please come forward. Hope I said your last name right.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, members of the audience, my name is Alfredo Turbiatis, and I'm the principal of Hobbs High School. I want to take this opportunity to thank the city of Hobbs and all your support, specifically the Parks and the Recreation Department, as well as the Street Department, and their help in hanging the banners across the community to support our high school graduates this year. This was very important for every single one of us. As you know, this pandemic changed everything for every single one of us, especially in the way we provide instruction to our students. Senior year is supposed to be one of the most exciting and memorable years of a student's experience of their high school year. Obviously, this was not the case for these students. Most of our students, our seniors, spent only 3 months physically in the building, learning directly from the teacher. The previous 6 months, they worked straight from home in a remote setting. So this really means a lot for us to be able to have this opportunity to have our banners hung throughout the community. So I want to personally thank Mr. Brian Wagner, Mr. Tom Randall, and Mr. Blasio Ramirez and their crew for helping hang these banners throughout our community so that everyone can honor our high school graduates, the class of 2021. So as a token of appreciation, Hobbs High School, we would like to present a plaque to the city of Hobbs for their continued support of our students and our schools.
Mr. Wagner, please come forward.
Plácido.
Who else? Yeah,
Todd.
whoever's here. Doug.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. This is what we have. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. So I'm not sure who wants to hold it, but thank you guys so very much. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you.
And Mr. Gene Strickland, our superintendent, is here. Thank you for your presence this evening. Appreciate you being part of it. Next item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request an item to be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent agenda without discussion or vote. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda this evening?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Mr. Calderon. May I have a second?
Mr. Fields, I second it.
Have a second by Mr. Fields. Please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Commissioner Ritz?
I thought I put That's David.
Motion does pass. We have no discussion items this evening. On our action items, item number 7 is resolution number 7088, all proposing amendments to the Gross Receipts and Compensation Tax Act related to the consequences of HB 6. I know the community has heard me discuss this quite a bit. This is a very unfavorable legislative action that the legislature did last year. I think some of it's unintended consequences, but we certainly need to work on trying to get some changes made. And the legal department, Mr. Cortez and his team have done an excellent job of identifying where the changes were made and the negative impacts to the community. So I'm gonna let him spend a little time this evening, talk about the amendment. And if the commission approves it this evening, we've already had approval by the Municipal League and their policy committee. We'll take this in front of the entire Municipal League, which represents all the communities, municipalities in the state, and ask for them to approve it, as well as make it a legislative priority for this next legislative session. So with that, Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of the Commission, City Manager, staff, and members of the public. My name is Ephraim Cortez, and I serve as the City of Hobbs City Attorney. The resolution before you this evening does two things. It opposes the 2019 changes to New Mexico statutes annotated 1978, Section 7-1-14, and it requests the New Mexico Municipal League and the New Mexico Legislature to amend the statute. And so I thought it was important when we presented this resolution to present to both the Commission and the public kind of how we got here, if you will. And so I prepared a quick PowerPoint where the location, it specifically references municipality. So subsection A is what I would deem pro-municipality to the old version of 7-1-14. And then you have HB 6, and HB simply stands for House Bill. It was a bill that originated in the House portion of the New Mexico Legislature, and 6 is just the order in which it was presented. So HB 6 does a lot of different things. It was actually proposed as a comprehensive tax overhaul. And you can see way down at the bottom, in just a few words, it talks about destination tax. And so what I wanted to point out to the Commission this evening is that HB 6 was actually 106 pages long. And again, there's only 3 pages or one small segment that's actually dedicated to the destination tax. And so, you know, I think it could be plausible and certainly easy for any legislature that was reviewing this bill on short notice to overlook or to not have the opportunity to read all 106 pages of it, and certainly not to decipher the subtle nuance that I'll point out to you this evening that actually has a huge impact on municipalities. So you can see that the relevant provision of HB 6 actually starts at page 35 of the 106 pages. And at page 35, you see that the legislature is addressing again 7.1.14, the same 7.1.14 that you just saw on your screen previously. And so you may ask, what was changed by HB 6? I think the easier question to answer is what remained the same in HB 6. And what we know remained the same as a result of HB 6 was a total of 17 words remained in the statute. It's what I would call a complete overhaul of the statute. Importantly, while 17 words were left in the body, the word municipality was struck from the entire statute. So as it reads today, municipality is not mentioned in the statute. When you look at subsection C of what's on your screen, you see that this is the provision for destination tax as it relates to goods. And I apologize to the commission and the members of the audience. What you see on your screen is actually an overlay of the old or pre-2019 version of 7.1.14, and it's layered with the results of HB 6, what are now the post-2019 version of 7.1.14. Everything that's in blue-green is what's been added by HB 6, and everything in red is what HB 6 actually struck. So you can see that if I can go back, you can see that what started off as a 4-paragraph statute ballooned into a 3-page statute that addresses a whole gambit of things as they relate to paying the gross receipts tax. And so again, subsection C relates directly to goods, and that section, if I can summarize it, says that the gross receipts tax will be paid where the goods are delivered. This is page 2 of the statute now as it sits, and you can see that there is a subsection F, and subsection F addresses services. Now, if I can take the commission back a bit, in 2018, and our resolution covers this, in 2018, the United States Supreme Court authored an opinion in South Dakota versus Wayfarer Incorporated. That's 138 Supreme Court 2080. Again, 2018 opinion, and what that opinion said in essence was that internet retailers must pay gross receipts taxes where they deliver their goods. So in an attempt to capture those internet sales, it was the belief of many that HB 6 was going to allow the state to capture those internet sales. But you can see that HB 6 actually went a little bit further. Not only did it address goods, as the Wayfarer decision did by the United States Supreme Court, it also addressed services. So you can see in subsection F, the legislature changed for the payment of gross receipt taxes on services, and they made the services destination tax as well, with the exception of professional services that require an advanced degree like lawyers. But the real problem lies in subsection F, subsection 5. And you can see that subsection F, subsection 5 calls for the payment of gross receipts taxes on all of the services besides professional services where the services are rendered, or where the services are delivered. And so that now means that any service that has a business location within the municipal boundaries of any municipality, including the city of Hobbs, once that business goes outside of the municipal boundaries to render a service, they'll now be paying the gross receipts tax where they render that service. And that's a huge change. And again, the change it all stems from that last line of subsection F, subsection 5. And on page 3 of the now existent statute, you can see that the legislature defined professional services to include those services that require a license or an advanced degree to participate in. So when we talk about capturing internet sales tax, the great trade-off, as I deem it, my words, not anyone else's, but the great trade-off was that hey, we're going to make a destination tax for goods and services, but the municipalities are going to be offset by the internet sales tax that they're going to capture. Well, and this is being Facebook Live, so I'm sure my wife's going to see it at some point. She doesn't know about this yet, but I'll go, as you can see, I'll go through great lengths to make a point. And so I apologize, Elaine, in advance. I made this purchase a couple of mornings ago, and I made this purchase online, and I bought a textbook. And she doesn't know about it yet, but she'll know about it now. But the important thing to point out is when I made the purchase.
You used a city credit card.
It was my personal credit card. But we digress. The important thing to point out is that I wasn't charged any sales tax on this purchase. And this is an online purchase utilizing my personal credit card. And it was from the American Bar Association, who's stationed in Chicago, Illinois. And yet I was not charged any sales tax on the purchase. And to me, when I saw it, that raised some concerns for me. Because if the great trade-off for the municipalities is that we will capture internet sales tax, I think the evidence, at least to date, shows that may be hit and miss. And so, I hope this illustrates some point. Certainly I am aware of some internet purchases from our colleagues, and I won't call them out for their spending habits, but some have reported to me that in fact they were charged internet sales tax. But if at least one is not showing internet sales tax, then I can guarantee you there are others. And that should be cause for concern, not only for the city of Hobbs and this commission, but for other municipalities across the state. And so the proposed resolution calls on the New Mexico Municipal League to seek an amendment to 7.1.14 subsection F, subsection 5. That also calls on Lee County delegates to the New Mexico legislature to promote legislation to amend 7.1.14 subsection F, subsection 5. The proposed change that this resolution seeks is to change the language on F5 to say, for services other than those described in paragraphs 1 through 4 of this subsection, the location of the performer of the service or seller of the product of the service as appropriate. In vetting this with the very skilled individuals in finance and my legal team, I can tell you that we believe this would allow for Hobbs-based businesses to be able to pay Hobbs GRT even if they render services outside of the municipal boundaries of Hobbs. And I believe the change would be minimal, and we sought a change that wouldn't offend the underpinnings of the entire statute, but would rather accomplish what we believe is equitable. And so you can see in the proposed resolution that's before you this evening where we've actually proposed the exact language. The last thing I would say for this commission this evening is I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the hours of work that the mayor's actually put in personally to drive this resolution home, both to the New Mexico Municipal League and to our local delegate to the state legislature. We've had many conversations and he's been instrumental in drafting this, so I do thank you for his work. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question. So what this is actually stating is, when you say within the municipal boundaries, so if they just drive out of the city limits and just in the county is gonna receive gross receipts,
That's
correct?
Yes, sir.
And
Well,
it
the
doesn't
county
matter
receipt-
what county, I mean, if it goes to Eddy County, then Eddy County gets it, or?
Yes, so if it's done in the county, let's say it's done in Lee County, as it sits right now, and as it was pre-2019, the county received their share of gross receipts tax. The only difference was, if it was a Hobbs-based business, the city of Hobbs received gross receipts tax as well. Now, the county will still receive gross receipts tax, but the city of Hobbs won't. The other party that will be the state of New Mexico.
So we just get booted out of it.
Can you talk a little bit about the complexity of accounting for this from a business standpoint of how that's a burden on our local businesses?
Oh, you bet. And you being a business owner and many business owners here on the commission, I think you're better situated to speak to it than I, but I can tell you that what it will require now is that when you conduct business outside of the municipality, that you actually research the tax rate of the locale where you will be conducting your business to ensure that you pay the appropriate GRT. So it does make it cumbersome for businesses now. It does put more burden on businesses to ensure that they're paying the appropriate gross receipts tax rate.
Mr. Smith, you have any questions or comments?
Nothing positive to say on the comment side. It's just as Commissioner Mills said, the difficulty in reporting this is challenging to say the least. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? May I have a motion to approve resolution number 7088?
So moved, approved.
Have a motion by Mr. Pinnick. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mills. Please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion passes. Also, I want the community to know that we have almost the entire commission contingency is going to be attending the Municipal League meeting of the last week in August, correct, Ms. Fletcher?
That's correct.
And be up there to advocate for this and talk to our fellow commissioners and mayors and state legislators about the improvement of the importance of this being a part of the call, the governor's call. And I will be hoping that I can get some input with the governor's office about making sure that this gets on her call to be part of the legislative session as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8, resolution number 7089, authorizing prioritization of the top 10 projects for fiscal year 2023 through 2027 infrastructure capital improvements plan, ICIP. Mr. Todd Randall, city engineer, and Kevin Robinson, development director.
And I'm pretty sure we have 20 slides, don't we?
Double.
I'm sorry about those. So anyway, this is the ICIP, the annual ICIP. This is a 5-year planning document that the municipality sends to New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority, or not New Mexico, that's the other entity that we deal with all the time. But the New Mexico Finance Department through their local government divisions on a yearly basis. The whole policy, the whole planning process is not dictated by the state of New Mexico. However, there are some things that they're wanting us to see, and number one being that all of these projects that arrive onto the ICIP are vetted through the various public bodies and the public. Within the city of Hobbs, of course, we're using our planning board. The planning board did have the opportunity in a special meeting to see the ICIP. The ICIP is seen by the planning board every year, and this year was a little bit different because we had to have a special meeting in order to get those 10 pumped out to the commission. And those 10 and when I say 10, they prioritized the entirety of the ICIP projects, and then recommended their top 10. Okay, and keep in mind that top 10 prioritization is not a process that's required by the ICIP. It's just good form. Kind of let's all sit in a room and see what our priorities are. With that, the planning board did recommend 10 items to the commission, and the commission was in the last meeting presented those 10 items and was asked to rank your particular prioritization of those 10. And of course, we do have that. We have tallied all of the sheets and all it is, and we have got the 10. And in order, they are the sewer main replacement, Joe Harvey Boulevard improvements, street improvements and resurfacing, public safety, security improvements, and the drainage master plan improvements. Those would be the top 5. Ooh, I didn't put them in that order. I'm trying to read over your shoulder. But anyway, those are the top 5 that this commission has.
It's evident you're a planner, not an engineer, Kevin.
It's obviously no. and not only that,
1 through 5.
Not only that, but a blind one. So anyway, those are the top 5 items that the commission has chosen as the top 5 from the city Hobbs planning board's top 10 recommendations. And with that, it is, you know, we've mentioned more than once how archaic the database that the state has put in place. I will tell you that even though that database is archaic, within well, they started it the year before last. That all pours into what's called the dashboard, and the dashboard is an excellent tool. The state's done a fantastic job of combining, of putting all of these database entries that we do as staff and put them into a single page and a page that you can query. So for example, let's say you want to know what projects are in Roswell. Well, anyone who participates in the ICIP process is available through that dashboard site. Now, with that being said, after these 5 projects are submitted, then staff is going to be finalizing all of the other database entries, and that has to be in front of the New Mexico Finance Department by the 16th, Mr. Randall? Correct. Yes, 16th. So, and then from the 16th, well, it generally takes them about a week. So about a week after the 16th, those all of this year's data will be available on that dashboard.
It's actually Friday the 17th.
17th, okay, excuse me.
Have we heard of any priorities coming down from the 4th floor?
Not this time.
Well, before the 17th, we may. So, I mean, this is a moving target. And for those of you that have not been part of this process for a long time, sometimes what the governor's administration feels is important for us to do, sometimes we need to shuffle some of our priorities because it helps us not on capital outlay, not only for our legislators that represent us locally, but also the governor has the ability to initiate capital outlay. And so we'll continue to watch that and make sure that we're in the hunt as it relates to some of these other ICIP projects.
And the ICIP can be added to in a minute as far as projects.
Yeah, it's not set in stone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Why do I have all these 11s? Is this like Spinal Tap?
So,
This is the engineering side.
Oh.
this is some spreadsheets information. So you can see that there's more than 10 projects here. There was an other as far as on the list for each commissioner to be able to add additional projects or pick a project that wasn't necessarily out of the top 10 from the original recommendation. So whenever you see 11, it's maybe that commissioner had nothing for that one, did not support it, so it was given 11. The same goes with any new project that maybe you'll see highlighted in the yellow here on the bottom, as far as that commissioner has identified either a new project or a project on the list that they believe was number 1. But in order to make it consistent with, in order to get to this point to compare those projects, every other commissioner or the mayor was given 11 for that particular item because it wasn't one of the things they picked. So you can see, this only gets us to the point of discussion. In order to move something into the top 10, if it's a new project, then it has to have multiple votes from that commission. Now, even at this stage, as far as the top 5, and here simplifies it as far as those top 5, that's either there can be additional discussion, and this is the first time this information was provided to the clerk's office only hours before this meeting so that we could share this information with the commission. Because you haven't had a chance or opportunity to have a discussion as far as the top 5 that's shown here. That's not to say that the commission can have additional discussion and recommend a different top 5.
well, but like I say, it gives us a starting place, and we have a timeline that we have to agree, we have to abide by for purposes of the Department of Finance with the state. So I think that these certainly, the ones that they identified, the 5, are certainly ones that would accurately represent the needs for the improvement of the community in terms of capital outlay. Does anybody else have any comments regarding that?
Green Mary.
Okay. With that, I'll ask for approval of resolution number 7089. We have a motion by Mr. Fields, may I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Penny. Please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
The motion does pass. Item number 9, resolution number 7090, authorizing submission of a grant application to the New Mexico Department of Transportation to provide funding for public transportation for fiscal year 22 and 23 under section 5311 of the Federal Transit Act. Ms. Jan Fletcher, City Clerk. Good evening.
Good evening. As Mayor stated, I'm Jan Fletcher, City Clerk for the City of Hobbs, and I'm also the Public Transportation Director for the city. I first became involved with Hobbs Express when I started work for the city, and I've been an advocate for public transportation for over 25 years now. Public transportation systems help ensure that people can reach everyday destinations such as jobs, schools, community resources, medical care, shopping, and recreational opportunities. It plays a vital role for individuals with disabilities, older adults, and those who are unable to drive, including those without access to vehicles. Grant funding opportunities are available through the Federal Transit Administration to help provide these public transportation services. Every year in August, Hobbs Express seeks approval from the Commission to submit its annual grant application. Tonight, the item presented to you for consideration is approval of the FY 22-23 grant application for FTA funding. This is a formulary grant with the city paying 20% of the administrative cost, 20% of the capital cost, and 50% of the operational cost. The total application is in the amount of $1,211,500,000, with the federal portion being $691,940, and the city portion being $519,560. So the resolution you're being asked to consider tonight commits to the city's funding match of $519,560. So by comparison, last year in August, under a similar application, the City Commission graciously approved a local match of $527,000 for public transportation. But because of the Federal CARES Act funding, the city's local match for FY 21-22 has been reduced to $98,000. And we think this is wonderful. The grant agreement for these funds will be presented to the Commission for formal approval at a soon meeting, at an upcoming meeting. So in your packet, you'll see letters of support from many of the agencies that we work with on a daily basis in delivering transportation services. United Way, Salvation Army, Boys and Girls Club, the Covenant Health Center. Transportation is what connects these agencies and the people that they serve. And Hobbs Express fills this important transportation need in this community every day and every year since this program started in 1989. So your continuing support of this program would be appreciated. This grant is to continue operation at its current level. Ridership has been low due to the COVID, and I think that it's been low with many of the transit agencies everywhere, but we're hoping that that will pick up as we see COVID leave, hopefully sooner than later. But I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the application.
Questions or comments? Mr. Smith?
I'm good, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. With that, I'll ask for a motion to approve resolution number 7090.
Move to approve.
A motion by Mr. Girth, may I have a second?
I second it.
Have a second by Mr. Fields, please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Commissioner Mills?
I do.
We got you. The motion does pass, thank you, Jan, and thank you for the effort between you and your team, job you do with this program.
Thank you very much.
Item number 10, resolution number 7091, approving a fair share development agreement with 773 LLC concerning the projection of J. Rob Lane south of Millen Drive in the amount not to exceed $86,526. Mr. Kevin Robinson, Development Director.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is a development agreement, a fair share development agreement, which basically a fair share, from a 30,000 foot view, a fair share means that there is infrastructure that is being developed. as per Resolution 7063, that infrastructure that the municipality is willing to participate in is going to be a collector roadway or above, so it could be an arterial, but not a minor residential, and the developer of the roadway is not receiving full benefit of that roadway. In other words, their access, although the roadway is 100% on the developer's property, he's only going to be accessing one half of the roadway. He's only going to be accessing half of the sewer, half of the water. So that's the reason that we have a fair share development agreement. This is for a piece of property that's going to be located, that's already been created, is going to be located west of the intersection of Millen and J-Rob. And you'll see here's Millen, Grimes, Lovington Highway, Green Meadows Lake, and then there's where the property will be, that is being developed. And then here, of course,
And that's a commercial development, correct?
Commercial development, yes, sir. This is going to be where the Quiznos is going to be located. And J-Rob will be extending, here again, the city of Hobbs major collector, J-Rob will be extended 418 feet, plus or minus, it may be 18.5 at the end of it, but anyway, 418 feet from the center of Millen down to the terminus of what will be J-Rob. J-Rob, per the City of Hobbs Major Thoroughfare Plan, is projected to extend throughout the remaining property, well, I say that, southerly in the remaining property that is Del Norte, and will eventually tie in with another major collector that will be east-west. And like the mayor said, this is for a fair share development agreement for the amount of $86,526.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question.
Okay.
I know this is a fair share agreement with the developer, and they're gonna be using half of this roadway. Would you say we're sharing 50% of the cost?
Yes and no. What the community is providing with this fair share development agreement is patient capital. Okay, at the end of the day, the municipality, we need the major thoroughfare, and we need that the major collector. And we need that collector for our transmission of our water and our sewer, and for traffic flow problems also. The developer is, if the entirety of the roadway encompassed the entirety of their property, we'd be having different conversations because they'd be utilizing both sides. This is going to be the municipality providing patient capital for that other half, but when that other half is used by additional parties, there will be an assessment paid for that.
You're talking about the other half on the east side of the roadway?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
So if the other property is developed, then we will be reimbursed for that portion?
Yes, sir.
And then they will be designating that portion of their property that's developed over to the City of Hobbs for future maintenance and.
Full dedication, and of course, yes, sir, as it's dedicated, the municipality takes over all of those maintenance responsibilities.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And the municipality will not reimburse until we get the engineer of record certification, and that's all in the development agreement.
So I just wanted to make clear that we do maintain that property once it's dedicated.
Yes, 100%.
And we would hope that this projection of J-Rob would create some development on the east side, which, especially if it's commercial development, would generate gross receipts for us as well.
Yeah, opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. So.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? May I have a motion to approve resolution number 7091?
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Calderon. May I have a second?
Second?
May I have Mr. Pennick, was that you?
Yes, sir.
We'll have a second by Mr. Pennick. Please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Motion does pass. And I want to remind the commission and the public that the owners of 773 LLC came originally and presented to the commission regarding this project. Also, item number 11 is publication of proposed ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Hobbs Municipal Code, establishing a Veterans Advisory Board. Mr. Gomez, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, staff members of the public. This item before you is for publication only. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Hobbs Municipal Code and establishing a Veterans Advisory Board. I'd be remiss, Mayor and Commissioners, if I first did not thank the many volunteers that we have on the many advisory boards that are currently serving, that have served in the past, and that are documented in Chapter 2 within that ordinance. So if they're listening tonight, I thank you for your service, because as you and I were talking earlier, Mayor, volunteerism is really fading and it's a thing of the past. So we're very appreciative to our volunteers. This amendment desires to create a Veterans Advisory Board to render advice to the City Commission on matters pertaining to local veterans and the impending Hobbs Veterans Memorial Park. It is proposed that the Veterans Advisory Board will consist of 5 members appointed by the mayor with the advice of you, the commission. Advise the commission on veteran affairs and issues of importance to our local veterans. Organize events and assist in decisions concerning the Hobbs Veterans Memorial Park. Recommend policies and procedures related to the preparation, the care, and the maintenance of the Hobbs Veterans Memorial Park, and be the sole authority to authorize placement of any names or inscriptions at the Hobbs Memorial Park. Like all boards, a staff member will be assigned to be the liaison to the advisory board, along with a commission appointee as well, to assist the board in any of their concerns and issues. If approved, the board will meet every other month, and its members will serve 2-year terms. This ordinance will need to be published in the Hobbs News Sun at least for 2 weeks before it can be considered for final approval by you, the commission. And if approved tonight, staff will have the ordinance published as soon as possible, and hopefully we'll come back for your consideration for final approval in first meeting in September or 2nd. So with that, Mayor and Commission, I will stand for any questions on this proposal.
It'll also be on our city website, is right, correct?
Yes.
So if people want to access it, they can go to hobbsnm.org, and there's a, what would be the link?
There we'll create that, establish that link as well.
If it's passed tonight?
Past that, yes, sir.
It'll be on the legal notices.
The legal notices as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, so with that, I'll ask for any questions or comments from the commission. May I have a motion to approve for publication the proposed ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Hobbs Municipal Code establishing a Veterans Advisory Board?
So move to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Pinnick. May I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Fields. Please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Motion does pass. That adjourns our meeting. Thank you. That adjourns our meeting for this evening. I will remind everyone that our next meeting date will be Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, due to the Labor Day holiday on Monday, September 6th. And with that, Mr. Gomez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission, staff. You know, as we all know, that the position of a fire chief to our city is very important, and it represents a great deal symbolically for Hobbs and Lee County. We have a progressive and innovative fire department that has received recognition throughout the years, and it's important that we continue to move forward. And our city organization is a big believer in a fair and transparent process. And after a nationwide recruitment search, I'm proud tonight to publicly announce that as of August 8th, 2021, Barry Young has been selected as the new fire chief for our City of Hobbs Fire Department. Chief Young has been with the HFD since '03 and has served the City of Hobbs for more than 19 years. And he served different capacities, and I'll tell you, every capacity he has served at the Hobbs Fire Department, he's received the utmost respect, and he was also an acting fire chief, and there's no doubt in my mind that he will continue these results as our fire chief. So I'd like to publicly recognize and congratulate Barry Young as our new fire chief.
Wasn't really prepared for this. Mayor, Commission, City Manager, City staff. I appreciate the opportunity here. Sorry. Appreciate the opportunity that's been given to me to lead a group of men and women in the fire department. I'm truly honored and humbled by the support that I've been shown over the last week and a half or so since I found out. And it was the announcements made through the newspaper and everything. So, you know, we got a great department, we got great people, and we're gonna keep pushing forward and make this the department that everybody wants to be at, to come work and serve our community. So again, I appreciate the support from everybody within the city organization and the residents of City Hobbs.
Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And just an update, Mayor and Commission, we had our large item pickup this last Saturday, which was from south of Broadway. And I'll tell you that we've had an abundance of items, and staff is continuing to recover and pick those items up, weather delays and those type of things. But just a reminder that this is for large items and not regular household trash. And I think that we've had a press release and some other information via social media on what we're actually collecting and picking up. So, you know, we ask the public to please be, to consider those items as large items. I know that Megan had provided me some information that we actually picked up a jacuzzi spa that was picked up. So that's a large item. So that's what we're talking about. But anyway, our next one is on September 11th for residents between Broadway and Sanger within the city limits. So again, just my hats off to the Parks Open Space, to the street department, and to the utility department for their efforts. As you well know, we had some wet weather on Saturday, but they're removing debris and not large items in that district. So these type of efforts do work, and we also want to recognize Waste Management for their assistance as well. So again, I do appreciate that. And then last but not least is just a reminder of our 9/11 20th anniversary. And again, it's the save to the date. We're going to have a 9/11 stair climb the evening of 9/11 at Watson Memorial Stadium, and also the ceremony at 9/11 Memorial off of Jack Gomez. So with that, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, comments?
Thanks a lot, Mayor. Thank you all.
Mr. Mills?
Briefly, a couple of the ICIP things that I put on there are things that have been kind of always something that people talk a lot about over in my neighborhood, and one of those is the students crossing from, you know, the second district. We have, you know, four, probably I guess 2 or 3 of the biggest schools in town. The high school and the freshman school border the south side, and then Highland, which and Coronado are right there together. And you know, after school, there are lots of students that sort of flow back down into the south of Bender from Highland. And with all of the new houses they built down in there and apartments, lots of families out there which go to the schools, and so we've seen you know, which is great that we have more kids than ever floating around in there. And traffic is around Highland and Coronado is crazy in the afternoons. And I went through there the other day, and it really looks like a big city, like a rush hour. It's really a lot. And then the other thing is I've had multiple parents that's called me before COVID. Obviously during COVID we didn't hear much about it, but you know, it's back at the forefront is that the kids crossing Bender, it seems to always getting, you know, near misses and all this stuff. And you know, I know people worry about that, but it seems to be, because it's been a comment that's been regular over 2 or 3 years, that there's probably an issue. And I think it's probably similar to the things we used to hear, especially about crossing Del Paso and Highland there at Florida to go in Diamond Wells, that used to be pretty crazy, and there were lots of car accidents and stuff when kids were crossing it. And I think we've worked and got that sort of fixed, but That the other just really crazy spot, I don't know if there's an intersection in Hobbs that has more kids crossing a major road than, you know, from Highland and Coronado there. So those are issues that I put on there, and that's why. It's because they're important to the people in that area, and therefore it's important to me, and I think important to the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Fields?
I don't know, Mayor.
Mr. Calderon? Mr. Penny?
Yes, sir, Mayor, I have just a couple items. I had the pleasure of speaking to the pilot that flew the F-105 fighter jet that we received here a few weeks back. And I was really just in awe at the stories he was telling me about his experiences as an Air Force. I think he was a lieutenant colonel, if I'm not mistaken. But so I looked his name up in the books, and sure enough, his name was in that book, and that was his aircraft for over 10 years. We're going to have Mr. Gordon Ponce. The gentleman's name is Daley R. Bells Jr. His call sign was DR, and if you look really close underneath the canopy of that jet, his name is just minorly visible. But I'd like to get that name restored back on that aircraft when we display it. And the gentleman that is coming in, hopefully Wednesday, is what I was told today by him, is Mr. Gordon Ponsford. He's with the restoration company that we're going to receive a bid from to restore this jet to museum condition. Very excited, very much looking forward to that. Mr. Daley R. Bells, the pilot, he wants to fly in. Still flies, actually flies competition. He's 84 years old. And he wants to fly in and meet with Mr. Gordon Ponsford Wednesday as well. And he's supposed to call me back this evening and tell me, but I will reach out to him in the morning. He probably tired of my phone calls. But looking forward to that. Also, congratulations, Barry, on your position. I know since I've been a commissioner, I've seen you save the city hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars through your works, through the grant funds and stuff, through the state of New Mexico. I've always been very impressed with your work, and the city of Hobbs is blessed to have you as a fire chief. Congratulations. That's all I have, Mayor.
Mr. Kurth?
Yeah, I had some disturbing news today about some of the COVID testing going on. And I think what my concern is this: I really believe that things are starting to look like we're picking on people who haven't had the vaccination. And I think this is coming from the state up in Santa Fe, when we're putting pressure on our schools now that they do 25% testing of all teachers. But if you've already been vaccinated, you don't have to be tested. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to, but anybody that hadn't been vaccinated, you can be vaccinated, you have to be a spit test if you're chosen out of that 25% from your school. And if you test positive, all your students are, if you're a teacher, all your students are dismissed for 10 days, 14 days. I'm not sure if it's 14 or if it's just 10. Teachers dismissed for 10 also. If you're tested again and you have it then, they will be paid the first time that they tested if they come positive. But if they get tested a second time and you come out positive, you're not fired, you're not let go, but you're no pay. You go home with no pay. So, this really disturbs me because I think we're starting to see where we're picking on non-vaccinated people. And it makes no difference. Even vaccinated people can catch this COVID. Manny, it's happened to you, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, it's just, if we start down this road, this is gonna get bad. If this nation starts down this road to where they're segregating the unvaccinated from the vaccinated, there's gonna be a problem. So, hopefully, this can be resolved some way soon, figure a better way out of doing it, but this is really disturbing, so. That's all I got.
Mayor, if I may, I'm sorry, Mayor. I would like to get on board with Don on that. We spoke about that earlier today, and I think we're heading down an awful road when I personally believe it's a form of discrimination against people who choose not to be vaccinated. And I'm definitely on board with what Don is saying. And also, I apologize I didn't finish. My wife texted me and informed me I didn't. So, but I'd like to also announce that I will be running again for commissioner in the upcoming election. And I pray that goes well, if God's willing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. With no other comments, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. We have a vamonos by Mr. Calderon. May I have a está bien from Mr. Girth? Okay, please vote. Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I thought you passed on that one. You were a nerd on the other one.